All right, welcome everybody. So today I'm going to be talking about Vim, why you should use it, why you should care about it, because it actually is very beneficial to coding. Um, I've been using it for about a couple years now, ever since the start of the Seaside classes at community college. I did use it uh, a few years before my Seaside classes, but I didn't really use it to the points that I do now. My usage now is kind of crazy. Like I've kind of figured out most of the stuff that you need to, look like a wizard when you're using it. Um, so we're gonna cover today, basically. Yeah, you guys are welcome to chat in the workshop. If you guys have any questions, just let me know in the workshop. Just chat it up. Um, Today we're gonna go over why you should use Vim over some other text editors like VS Code, Sublime. C Lion's pretty popular for C and C++ users, and Visual Studio as well. And Atom, I've never tried Atom, but I've heard it's pretty good as well. But Vim is superior, of course. um, and we're gonna go over why today. Um, so who here is new to Vim? I want to kind of get an idea how many new people we have to Vim. All right, we got one person. Okay. You're 41, but still lost. So that's okay. That was me too. You know what? I'm gonna actually go to voice activity instead of push to talk. All right. All right. So yeah, I chose to kind of go over some of the basics. We have a few of the advanced like commands and customizations, because really all Vim is about is learning the commands, and you'll see that a lot of them are actually really simple to remember. I wouldn't even say you remember them. They just kind of go off the top of your head. So we'll get into that today. But first, why I use Vim is because you don't have to use a mouse. You don't like the other text editors. You don't have to use a mouse. Like I'm on my laptop a lot, and I don't want to have to. I don't want to have to plug in a mouse, right? I mean, I do have a wireless mouse, but I still don't want to plug in the little dongle because it's just annoying, right? And I don't want to use a touchpad either. It's pretty garbage. So I got used to Vim because it made everything easier for me. Yes, VS Code and all those others, they have keyboard shortcuts, but they're not as easy to remember, I would say. So yeah, this is a big plus to me. You don't have to like put in your brain what's the shortcut to this, and you don't have to use your mouse. So yeah, we're gonna go over a lot of keyboard shortcuts today. I found this pretty cool. This is a picture I found online. There's actually like a overlay you can put on your. I think this is a MacBook Pro. You can put an overlay on top, so you just look down and it tells you what that key does. That's pretty cool. All right, got some questions. Is Vim you were talking about today the same as Vim as putting Vim before you edit a file? Yes. Yes, we're talking about Vim, the text editor today. Yeah, and I'll be going over basics and more advanced shortcuts today that you guys should be able to learn something from today, especially if you've this is your first year using Vim. Yeah, NVim, Vim, and Vi are, yeah, pretty much all the same. Vi was the original text editor, like in the 1980s or whatever. Um, and Vim just stands for Vi Improved. So it's basically, the version above it. And NVim is, NVim I think is better than Vim. I'm not sure. I don't use it. But yeah. Yeah, DD. Yep. We'll get into those today. All right. So another thing, Vim, highly customizable. So what you see here on the left side, you have what's called Nerd Tree. That's the name of the plugin. So you can have, like, it's a file explorer. You can have all your files and folders here on the left side. And what I like about these plugins is they use the same easy to remember shortcuts that Vim. Uh, I think the whole philosophy behind Vim is make the shortcuts easy, so you don't even have to think about it, right? I'll show you in here in a couple slides that it's really easy to remember. So for this, you can set up your own shortcut. That's another great thing about Vim. You can literally go inside. On the right side here is the Vimmers, which is basically your. Actually, this is Tmux, but Vim has what we call a Vimmers, where you can go in and say, I want this key to do this. So basically, you can tell Vim to do whatever you want. Say you want space E to open File Explorer, or a space FE, probably what I would set it at, space File Explorer. That's easy to remember. You can tell Vim to do that. I'm tempted to ask how Kearney gets that auto-compile feature onto Vim. Yeah, that's a plugin. The reason why he doesn't set that up for everybody is because the server is kind of limited, and I wouldn't say limited, but it's CPU and memory. Imagine 100 students using that plugin. I think it'd get pretty bogged down pretty quick. So I think that's why he doesn't have it enabled by default. I don't think he's on a Raspberry Pi. Yeah, there is a plugin manager. I think he used. Here, I could pull it up. Let's see. Can you guys see my putty right now? Okay. I think he uses plugged, which I believe he has said in the past if you can figure out how to install it, you can, and you can use it. But it is quite a task to install this stuff, because it's that is one of the downsides to Vim. It is a little hard to get into with the plugins, but everything else, like the keyboard shortcuts, they're already set up for you. So you don't even need plugins, I wouldn't say, until you're working on like big projects where you need to search through multiple folders and files. So yeah, he uses a plugged, and its plugin is called COC. It's called what is it? Conqueror of Completion, I believe it stands for. But let's go back to my slide. But yeah, that's one of the great things about Vim. You can customize pretty much everything. So he has the file. I found this picture online as well, but I had the similar setup. You had the File Explorer on the left side, and then the status bar down here is also customized. You can get some more information, like if anybody uses GitHub, it shows you what branch you're on, shows you what OS you're currently logged into. say you're gonna SSH into like a Windows box or something, it'll actually say what is it, DOS? Yeah, it'll say DOS. Yeah, you can customize everything, but I'm not going to be going much into customization today because that's a whole nother talk in itself. What app is that screenshot from? This is Vim. What do you mean? Yeah, this is Vim right here. Yeah, this is just Vim customize. This guy, no, it's not putty. I don't think it's putty. They use their own terminal probably. All right. So before we get into anything advanced, I'd like to go over the basics. I'm sure most of you know everything by now with the basics. I for insert mode, that allow you to go in and change the file, like say actually writing inside the file. I'd say that these are the four modes that you need to know. I think there is like 10 different modes Vim has, but really I only use like 4. And then these 4 right here: insert mode, press the escape key for normal mode, V for visual mode. A lot of people use visual. I'll show you real quick. I was gonna wait till the last slide, but I could show you guys real quick. So visual mode, there's actually 3 different kinds of visual mode. Your first visual mode is called character visual mode. You can press V and just go up, and you can move your cursor to the right, down, and it'll actually highlight everything that you're scrolling down. And then from here you can say DD to delete all that. I like visual mode sometimes because it, yeah, what? Visual mode is great because you can actually see what you're deleting, right? And there's also, so I pressed V there to get into visual mode, right? There's also capital V, and that'll highlight the whole line, each line. So now if you go to the right, nothing happens. It's highlighting the whole line. So you go down, go up, and it'll highlight the whole line. And you can do the same motions. Go all the way down and press D, and it deletes everything that's highlighted. I just press U to undo. And there's also one more visual mode. It's Control V. This is a block visual. So you see how it's one block. Even if I try to go to the right, it's still gonna highlight a whole block. I've never used this. I don't know why you'd use it, but it's there. Yeah. I tend to stick to Shift V. It highlights whole line. How do you use the block? It's Control V. Control V, and then it'll highlight blocks. See at the bottom it says visual block. If you want to remove whole functions at once or copy. Yeah, I'll get to that. There's an easier way to do that, for sure. For Mac users, I'm not exactly sure. I think it's Command V. Is Control the same as Command? I'm not sure. It's the same. Okay. But yeah, visual mode's pretty cool. I do use it from time to time. And we also have command mode, which we'll be going over a little bit later. You guys are already using command mode because if you type :WQ to save and quit, that's command mode. Or :Q, Shift ZZ is a lot easier. It does the same thing as write and quit. Never type that. You use Shift ZZ. Yeah, that's easier. Alright. So yeah, if you're brand new to Vim, at the terminal on PuTTY, you just give in Vim space and then the file you want to edit. Most of the time it's going to be main.cc if you're in Kearney's class. Alright, so now this is kind of like, I used to hate going around files with these motions. Like H goes left, J and K goes down and up, and L for right. I used to use the arrow keys, but now I've kind of like taught myself to use H, J, K, and L. It's just one of those things, like it's easier to move around. Yeah. There's the argument, like, you know, your hands are on the ASD keys if you're a gamer or whatever. You know, your fingers are already on the QWERTY keyboard, and then you have to move your right hand over to the arrow keys, right? You have to move so far. You have to move so far away from the keys that are already set up. That's the argument. I guess I sort of get it. You know, after today, you guys will see it is kind of beneficial, because after you use the commands, you can just say 15J, like for this example right here. You can combine a number with the motion. So let's go to PuTTY real quick. So let's see, I'm on line 13 right now. Let's say I want to go down to main. I can just press 16J, and it'll go directly down to main, right? I don't think you can do that with the, oh, you can do that with the arrows. Okay, learn something new every day. You can do that with the arrow key as well. 16, arrow key down, will take you down. But the argument was that your fingers are already in position to press the next commands, so you're actually saving a lot of time not going to the arrow keys. So yeah, I kind of taught myself to use H, J, K, and L. And I kind of, you know, when I first started out, this is how I'd scroll from the top to the bottom, right? You just press arrow key down. Oh, I'm at the bottom now. Go up. Oh, I'm at the top now. Yeah, I kind of taught myself to not do that anymore. So now if I want to go down, I just go, let's say I don't want to go all the way down. I kind of want to scroll. You know, page up and page down takes you some of the way down. I just type 15J now. I just do 15J repeatedly. It's just easier for me. You can also do is it Control U? Control U will go up, Control D will go down, but I find it's a little too much, and I don't like hitting the Control key. Your set number is really weird. You have it like that so you know how many lines you have to yeah. So this is a customization you can actually set. So yeah, if you type in :set relative number. Let me just turn this off real quick. How do I turn it off? I think set number. I think in Kearney's VimRC, I don't think he has the numbers on the side turned on. I could be wrong though. But relative number will tell you the line that you're on. 23. For example, this is line 23, and it'll also tell you. Let's say I wanted to go to this line. This is 22 lines above the current line I'm on right now. Yeah, it is pretty annoying. So yeah, if I wanted to jump down to main, all I'd have to go 6 down. So I could just say 6J. And it's very nice because now I can just say, if I wanted to go to this function right here, you can just press 24K. And this is save a bunch of time. So I would recommend actually using HJKL. At first, it's going to be a little weird. This is right. You're going to be going up when you wanted to go down. I still do that from time to time. But yeah, I'd say give it a try. All right, so now we get into some of the fun motions that I use every day. So this is what I was saying. Most motions are easy to remember. Let's say you wanted to move forward in a file. You can actually move a whole word at a time. Let me give you an example. So the way Vim defines a word is kind of weird. This will work. You press W, it'll go through the whole word and advance to the next word. But where do you think it's going to go next? Is it going to go to vector? Is it going to go to sort? You guys think it's going to go to vector? Yep. Right before it. Yeah, I would think that it would define a word as anything like white space or but nope. This is all a word to Vim. And there's also capital W will move you to the next white space. So you see that? Capital W takes you all the way to here. And you can also go back by just saying B, right? Or capital B, he'll take you back to where you were. So yeah, I use capital W and W a lot because most of the time you're editing between white space, right? There's a few times where you need to go word by word. But capital W helps a lot. All right, let's see what else we got. Yeah, there's also E. This moves you to the end of the word. What's the difference between lower and capital? So capital W. Let me go back up to here. So W will move you forward a word. Capital W, I guess that wasn't a great example. Did the same thing. Lowercase w will move you. It's kind of weird. Vim defines a word as, I guess, anything without white space. And capital W will move you to the next open white space. See how it moved me all the way over here? I guess that's the easiest way I can explain it. And you can use you can use E to go to the end of the word. Like we're at the start of vec here, and press E. It'll take you to the end of the word. That's pretty useful. I hardly use these because I just use 15J, 15K to go up and down. But you can Capital H will take you to the high line. Capital M will take you to the middle line, and capital L will take you to the low line. Let me just show an example real quick. So capital H will take you, let's say we got a bunch of code here, right? Capital H will just take you to, it won't actually scroll up, it'll take you to the top line. And then capital M will take you directly to the middle, and then capital L to the bottom line. That's pretty nice in some circumstances. But usually I'll be using like the 15, J, and K, like I said. And we also have GG and G. I use these a lot too. GG and G. Let's say you forgot to include vector, right? Now all your functions and main is crying because you didn't include vector. So you can just press GG, go to the top of file, press O, include vector. And now everything's good. And capital G takes you to the end of the file. It's pretty nice. Alright, delete 42K. Yeah. I haven't showed you guys O yet, have I? Let's see if it's in the next slide. Oh yeah, you can use, like I said before, you can use numbers with your motions. So say you wanted to move, let me go back up to this function here. Say you wanted to move forwards, you can just press 4W. Right, that's not, this is what I love about Vim. Like, it's not hard to remember that. I want to move 4 words, so I press 4W, forwards. And again, what Vim defines as a word is kind of weird, but yeah, O will put you on a new line, directly the line you were on before, and O will put you in insert mode. So it creates, let me do it again. So we're on line 5. Let's say I want to put a line before this statement right here. If vec.size return. Just press O. You have to be in normal mode. Right, you can't be in insert mode. Normal mode, you press O, creates a new line, a line below, and you're in insert mode. So now you can type whatever you want. And there's also capital O. Puts you on a new line above the line you were on. And it also puts you in insert mode. So you can start typing right away. I use that like all the time. That's one of those, oops. O, I guess O stands for open. Like open a new line or something? I don't know. Once you start using it a lot, you pretty much won't think about it. You just say, oh, new line. Alright. Now, this is more of the fun stuff. Now we can use F to find a character in line. So let's say you don't want to press L, to get all the way over here to this what do they call it? Angle bracket. Let's say you're at the start of the line. You can just press F and then the character you want to find. I did the right angle bracket, F angle bracket, and it'll take you right there. It's pretty useful. It'll find, let's say there's more than one in here. Like let's say we got somebody on here, whatever. It'll just find the first one. And you can repeat that. But yeah, it's only good for cases like let's see. And we'll go to the next. No, I think that's, let me see. N for the next is only in search, I believe. Let me try this. Find angle bracket. Find angle bracket. N. Yeah. Yeah, N is only for the search, which we'll get to in a second here. I think you can repeat it though. I'll try it again. Yeah, you can press semicolon. We'll repeat that. So what I did there was find angle bracket, the right angle bracket, and semicolon, and it'll run that again. Yeah, semicolon. So you don't have to type F angle bracket, F angle bracket. You can just do F angle bracket, semicolon. Or run that same find command again. And you can also use capital F. It'll just find reverse. So capital F angle bracket will take you into reverse. Let's see, find underscore. It wasn't working because I was doing lowercase. Find underscore. There we go. And semicolon, semicolon. T will find the character and line and move your cursor in front of it. So sometimes you don't want to be right on the character that you find. You want to be before it so that you can append before it. So you can use T. I like to think T of find until, right? Let's say you want to put a space between this parentheses and that right there. So you can just say T parentheses and it puts you before it. And now you can just press A. Yeah. A. Do you guys know about A? No? 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 Just I? Okay. Well, I puts you in insert mode on the character that you're on. A will put you in insert mode after that character. That's pretty useful. So now you can just put a space there. I use A a lot. Let me do that again. So we'll start at the beginning of the line. By the way, you can go to the beginning of the line by pressing 0. Yeah, it's a lot of shortcuts. And I'm going to make this a PDF so you guys can all have it. Yeah, and reference it anytime. But yeah, 0 will take you to the beginning of the line. And let's say T parentheses. And notice how we're before the parentheses. Now you just press A, and it takes you right on it. Yeah, no problem, guys. Let's see what else. Why the hell don't people tell me these things? I can't see the GIF. Yes, I pronounce it GIF. Sorry for those people that pronounce it GIF. Alright. And you can also use capital T, like everything else we've been learning. If there's a lowercase version, there's usually an uppercase version, or a reverse version. So you can use capital T. Let's say I want to go to... Here, let's find a better version. Also, you can use $, Shift 4 $, to go to the end of the line. Let's say you're at the beginning line. $sign will take you to the end. Let's see what I was going to do. Capital T, and let's say we want to move before the parentheses again. Capital T parentheses. Oh, why did that not work? Capital T parentheses. There we go. And let's just say you wanted to put like a space there or whatever. And then find parentheses. We'll put a space here too. Make it look pretty. Right? Alright, so $sign and 0. Yeah, I showed you guys. $sign will take you to the end of the line. Again, this is all in normal mode. Most of the commands are going to be in normal mode. So you have to press, you have to get out of insert mode, go press escape to go to normal mode. And then all these commands will work. Alright, let's get on to searching. This searching changed my life when I found out about it. Alright, so let's say you're in a huge file. You know, this isn't really a huge file, but let's say you're in a file with like 1,000 lines, and somewhere there's a print underscore vector, right? Let's just assume it's not right there. So you can press /. Notice how the / appears at the bottom here. That lets you know that you're going to search. So now you can just say print underscore vector. Press enter, and it'll take you right there. Notice how the cursor's right on print underscore vector now. And let's say you didn't want to go to the function, you wanted to go to main, where it's referenced to main. You can just press N. It'll take you to the next occurrence. So now we're inside of main, and you can keep pressing N, and once you hit the bottom and you couldn't find anything else, this message will appear, say search hit bottom, continuing at top. So it'll actually wrap around, go back to the top, and if you press N again, it'll just keep going, right? You can just keep going, cycling through, pressing N. And you can actually go backwards by pressing capital N, right? Everything, if it has a lowercase, it probably has an uppercase version where it goes in reverse. So capital N will take you the opposite way. But let's say you already know that the word you want to search is backwards. You can just type shift / for the question mark. Let's say we wanted to search for greatest sort algorithm ever. So we do question mark greatest sort. I could type some more, but there's nothing else there, and it'll take you directly there. I learned that you can hit GD over a word to find all instances of that word. Yeah, GD. I think GD stands for go to definition. Let me try that. Yeah, that's pretty nice. Huh. GD. And if you press N, it'll take you to the next. Nice. Very nice. This is what I like about Vim. You can always learn something new. Let's try Vec. There's a lot of Vecs in here. GD. I like how it actually highlights every single one of them too. Yeah. Press next, it'll take you through every single one. That's nice. Very nice. Thank you, Tim. Yeah, and N finds next occurrence, and capital N finds the next occurrence backwards. Yeah, we went over that. All right. So this kind of blew my mind when I figured out about it. You can actually use an operator and a count with a motion. So for instance, delete word, right? I don't have to think about, I want to delete a word. DW. Easy. Done. But I found about DIW. What do you guys think DIW does? Anybody? Yeah, delete center word. Yeah. Yeah, thank you. let's say we're here, right? We want to delete greatest sort algorithm ever. Do you guys think DW is going to do it? We kind of read it. Maybe. Yeah. So DW. It only deletes the last part. That's kind of not useful, right? Maybe in some cases, but most of the time you want to delete the whole word, right? So you can just say DIW. It deletes the whole thing. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if you're here at the start or in the middle. DIW deletes the whole thing. Let's say we're at the end, right? DIW deletes the whole thing. That blew my mind when I figured that out. Also, you can use CW. CW deletes the word and it puts you into insert mode. So you can start typing away. And CIW works the same way. Let's see what else we got. And yeah, you can also yank a word. Like you don't have to yank the whole line, right? Let's say I want to yank that and put it on a different line. There you go. So I just pressed yank word and P to paste. But there is kind of a thing you guys should know about P. P will paste, yeah, yank word or copy a word. So if you copy a word and you try to, usually, you know, when you copy a line and you press P, it'll put it on the line before or line after. If you copy a word, it won't do that for you. It assumes that you're going to put it like in the same line somewhere or in a different line. So if you copy, let's say copy vector, it won't put it on its own line. It'll actually do that. Just it'll paste it wherever your cursor is. But if you copy a line, let's say YYP, that actually put it on its own new line, which makes sense, right? And DD to delete that line, DD to delete that line. Did I go over DD? Delete line. DD deletes line. I don't think I did. Well, DD will delete the whole line. Not only that, it'll also put it into your paste register. So if I hit P now, it's still in there, right? So you don't have to press YYDD P. You can just press DD P. DD saves the line. so you don't have to copy it. Let's see. So yeah, you can also use that with I think I showed a example, delete 5 words. D5W will delete 5 words. And you can also move the number around. I believe you can do 5 DW, but it kind of, I like to think of it so you don't have to remember. 5 DW is kind of weird. We don't say 5 delete word. We say delete 5 words in the English language. I like to think of it that way. And yank 5 lines, Y5Y. And change 5 words. And so delete 5 words and put you in insert mode. Yeah. So there's also that, but I don't find myself using registers. You can actually save what you copied into a register. Yeah, Vim is really complicated. But once you get like all the basic commands down, and you're not even thinking about it most of the time, right? Unless you're doing like search and replace, or I'll show you a search and replace. It gets a little more complicated with the commands. So you can mix all these things in visual mode to see where you're selecting. It's a great way to visualize what changes you're making. V, then W, then D. Go next word, then delete selection. Yeah, the only thing about visual mode is, let's say, what's a good example here? Let's say I wanted to rename Vec to something else, right? Here in main. Yeah, you can go into visual mode. Let's say visual mode, W to highlight the word you want to work on, and then D will delete that, and then let's just call it Vec2. I don't think it'll work if you press W or dot here. Oh, it does work. So you can actually use dot. The dot command will repeat the last thing that you did. So let's do change word, Vec, and you can actually come down here. That's not a good example. Let me do this again. Vec3, go down, press dot, and it replaces Vec with Vec3 using the dot command. I just repeated what I did last. So dot, and you can actually say you're lazy like I am, just search for Vec. Go here, press dot, press next, dot, and it makes search and replace a lot easier. Yeah, it gets a little crazy once you start using all these commands together. You start to look like a wizard. You start to look like crazy. I don't know when crazy is a good word for that. Alright, so someone asked earlier how to, Vim Lord. Someone asked earlier, how do you delete a whole function? Well, you could do that. So delete, we learned earlier, delete enter word will delete the enter word. You can press delete or DI curly brace. That'll delete everything inside the curly brace. So for example, we're inside a main, which is restricted by these curly braces, right? DI curly brace deletes everything inside the curly brace. I'm waiting for some like Pikachu faces. I was expecting more there. Yeah. What I learned about that was yeah, there we go. Thank you, Tomas. So, let's do it again. DI curly brace. And U for undo. Yeah, Dylan, that's another good way to do it. So you can actually move your cursor to the curly brace itself and press D%. That'll actually delete the curly braces as well. But we're in Vim, and there's probably a better way to do that. Which, in fact, there is. You can just press CA curly brace. My emotions are only expressed. What? Yeah, CA curly brace. And it doesn't matter where you are within the curly brace, you can do that. CA curly brace. Find it very useful. It's also very useful for strings. Let's say we're inside a really long string, right? Does that copy? Well, let's see. Delete inside curly brace. Press P. Yep, it copies all that. Yeah, delete also stores what it deleted into the register. Pretty cool. Also, you can use this for strings. Let's say delete, enter, quotation mark. That'll delete everything inside the quotation mark. Similarly, you can use CI quotation mark, and it puts you into insert mode, so you can actually type right away. And by the way, to undo, I'm just pressing U to undo the changes. And that's also another thing I need to go over to undo. So let's say you screw up and you delete a main, right? Yeah, this is all being recorded. Let's say you screw up and you delete a main. It's okay. Just go into normal mode and press U. And it's back. And let's say you didn't want to undo, right? Let's say you didn't want to undo, so you can press Control R. And now main's gone again. Goodbye. But I'm going to bring everything back to where it was. Yeah, and it, by the way, it saves like everything you did, everything that you've done since you opened the file. So I can just hold down undo, and we're back to how this file was when I opened it. Persistent undo. I'm not sure. What do you mean by persistent undo? Control U. Does Control U do the same thing? Control U. Now Control U takes you up. Yeah, Control U scrolls you up. But Control R will redo. It's where you can undo after write and save. Let's see. Let me delete this. Write to it. Undo. No, doesn't look like it. I think you could set it up that way too. What was here? What was it? See out. I think that was what was there. But this is just a dummy file anyways. Oh, by the way, does anybody know what sort algorithm this is? I know you know it, Dylan. Tomas probably knows it too. No, it's not bubble sort. No, not quick sort. No, no. Kearney might have showed it. If you've taken 41, Kearney might have shown it to you guys. It's actually Stalin sort. So any number that's out of line just gets deleted. Yep. All right. Moving on. Where were we? All right. So I showed you guys delete around. So yeah, delete DA will delete around something. So you have to have like a curly brace or a quotation mark or a parentheses or even these squiggly lines. It just has to it'll work around the brackets as well. Anything that's surrounded by brackets or curly braces, you can use DA and then curly brace or whatever it is. So X will delete a character, and S will delete a character and put you in insert mode. I don't use this a lot. Let's say, so you can just press X, and it doesn't take you out of command mode or normal mode. I mean, so you can actually delete characters from normal mode, and S will delete a character and put you in insert mode. So let's say you wanted to, change vec from vec to tech or whatever. You can just press S and it'll delete and put in insert mode. It's useful in some cases. Control A will increment the first number in a line. So let's see. So it doesn't matter where you are in the line. You press Control A, it'll go to the first number and increment it. You can keep on pressing Control A, and it'll happily go on forever if you hold on to it. Oh god, now I gotta press U forever. So I found this useful recently when I was doing some HTML. For example, I had a list element that contained 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and blah blah blah. But I don't want to have to type all that, right? I just want to do 0, yank, 10p. Oh, why is it not working? Yank, 10p. Okay. Go into visual block. Go down. Control A. Okay, why did that not work? Of course it doesn't work when I try it. Okay, you're gonna have to just take my word for it. Starts at 0, right? And it increments every single one. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So you don't have to go in there like, okay, got 1, now I need a 2 there, now I need a 3, 4, 5. No, you don't have to do all that. Let me see if I can get this working. Yeah, like Excel. Yeah, exactly. Right. What was it? V maybe? That's not working now, of course. Alright, anyways, you just have to take my word for it. It works. Some way. Alright. So yeah, was it Dylan that mentioned he uses a percent sign? We would never use it as much. Yeah, you're probably never going to use that. It's kind of like a fun thing you can do. Like I said, Vim, if you can think about it, Vim probably has a shortcut for it. But is it worth it? Probably going to look it up. Probably not, unless you have to do it hundreds of times. But in that case, just write a program to do it, right? Shift percent. Yeah, Shift 5 will get you a percent, and that'll just jump to the matching bracket. So let's say we're on the curly brace right here, right? And you want to find where it connects to, or where the starting bracket is, or the ending bracket. You just press Shift 5. It'll take you to the matching bracket. Shift 5. Yeah, let's say you had like if something, you got a curly brace, you got another if statement in here, you got another if statement in here. I can go on and on, right? Like, okay, which bracket does this one belong to? You just press Shift 5. But your cursor has to be on the actual bracket itself. So if I was right here and I press Shift 5, it just took me to some random. Oh, did that work? Oh, okay. I take that back. I was even here and it took me to the matching bracket, so that's pretty cool. I remember spending a solid 2 hours searching for a curly brace. Yeah. Yes. It is especially useful for that. Let's get rid of all that. So yeah, this is another useful thing. If you are working on a large file, you can actually make a mark. Vim will save a mark to the certain spot that you are in the file. So you can press M, and any letter, this just means any letter A to Z, or even capital A to Z, you can make a mark, and it saves it to that register, to that character basically. So let's say I want to save right here. So I just press M, and I'm going to save it to mark X, MX. And then say I go down here, do something. Say hello world. And then I can just say backtick X. It'll take me right back up. Backtick. Backtick is this little guy right here. It's right next to your 1 on your keyboard. So yeah, as soon as you make a mark, MX to make the mark, and come down here, backtick X. I'll take you right back to where you were. Yeah, it's really helpful with large code files. Huh? What? I use backtick without a marker. How do you do that? Please share. Takes me to the last operation like insert. So you press backtick 1 time. Oh. Oh, twice. Okay. So let's say see out hello world again. And backtick. Okay, that's cool. It's a nice little trick. See, learning something new every day. That's what I love about Vim. I did not know that. I think you can actually use Control O, and it'll take you back to places too. Yeah. Control O. And yeah, you can use backtick whichever register you saved it in. That's a typo. Alright, so these next commands are kind of, I only use it in a macro, basically. But you can say, let's see, 50i dash escape will insert 50 dash characters at the cursor location. So let me show you guys. Let's say I'm down here. I want to see out 50 dash, so I go back to normal mode. I press 50i. Oops, I fluffed that up, sorry. Do that again. 50i dash, and then press escape. It'll insert 50 dashes for you. Pretty cool. But I only use this for macros. There's probably another cool use case for it, but and let's say you wanted to go to column 36. You just press let's say we wanted to go to this semicolon down here. So by the way, before I even show you this, in Vim, down here it'll show you like what line you're on, right? And also what column you're on. It's kind of useful and kind of not. Again, I've only used it for macros. Yeah. This is the line number and column number. I'm not. Let's see, 16. Yeah. See, as I'm moving, these numbers are changing right here. So we're on column 12 right now. Yeah. So let's say it's a good example for this. Like I said, I hardly ever use this unless we're in a macro or something. Let's say we're on the start of the line. You press 29 column, and it takes you to that column. The way I remember this, there's a number in front, and then I just refer this thing to as column. It's your it's the same key as the backslash, so you have to use this shift backslash to get this. But yeah, I only use it for macros. And I'm about to show you how I use it. So macros are great. Set numbers will take the guesswork. Yep. All right, so let's say I had a sample file here, but I got rid of it. So I figured it was too much information on the screen at one time. So let's say if you wanted to get all these semicolons to be on the same column as this guy, to make your code look prettier or whatever. This isn't a great example, but let's say I wanted all semicolons to be on the same column as this guy, right? You can do that with the macro. Yeah, job security. Yeah. And C++ doesn't care about white space, so you can actually do this and it will compile. So first, we need to figure out what column that is, right? So we go, it's on column 36. So this is where I'm going to start my macro. So let me go back to my slide. So you have to be in normal mode, and to start a macro you press Q. That'll put you in macro mode, and then you have to provide a register or character to save the macro to. So I usually use just QM because I don't use a lot of macros, but when I do, they're great to have. And then you can play back the macro by using the at key. So at m will play back that macro. Alright, so let's go ahead and show you a macro. So what I have here is just a Bluetooth file with a bunch of Bluetooth information like MAC address, SSID, auth mode, channel, RSSI. So what I want to do with this file is change each line into a JSON object. So we could do that with macros. So let me just show you first a simple macro just so you can get the idea. So I'm going to go ahead and put in a new line here with nothing on it. I'm going to press Q to insert macro mode, and you also want to give macro mode a key to save the macro to. So I'm going to press R. So now notice at the bottom it's saying recording at R. So now we know we're in macro mode, we're actually recording to the key R. So now we can, anything we do will be saved to the macro R. So I can just go into insert mode and say hello there and press escape, and to save the macro you just press Q again in normal mode. So now to play back the macro you can press at and then the letter of the macro. So I'm going to press at R, and notice that it said hello there. And we can do this 10 times by saying 10 at R, and we get 10 hello there's. So that's just a simple example, but let's go ahead and do something more useful. So like I said, I want to turn each line into a JSON object. If you're not familiar with the JSON object, don't worry. It's just a way to make the code, make this look cleaner, and it's also easier for programs to parse through this information. But let's go ahead and press Q, R. That's going to start recording to R. So now everything I do will be saved in the macro R. So I'm just going to go ahead and quickly go through this and change it to a JSON object. So I'm going to say this is going to be a Mac. So also, you can go between insert and normal mode throughout this whole process, and the macro will remember everything. So I'm just going to change this how I want it. Auth mode. It's going to be first seen. Channel. Oops. Hopefully that doesn't mess it up. And this is going to be out meters. Having a couple typos here. And at the very end, make sure that you end your macro on the next piece of information that you want to work on. And at this point, I'm going to press 0 to make sure we're on the beginning of the line, and end the macro by pressing Q. So now if you did everything right and play back the macro by pressing at R, and voila. So now we can do this, let's see, 15 times to go to the end of the file. 15 at R. And you can see how this is very useful. Let's say you had, like this file is 43,000 lines long. I am not going to do that 43,000 times. I would much rather have Vim do that. Alright, and then the last few things I want to go over the command mode. A lot of people just use Shift ZZ to save, but you can also do command mode. You just type : and then you're automatically in command mode. But first, you have to be in normal mode and type colon. So you can also get to lines by just typing colon and then the line number. Is there a way to use Shift CZ without saving? Yeah, you would do colon Q exclamation point. That will quit without saving. That's the only way I'm aware of. Like I said, but Vim, you can actually tell Vim, let's say you want like Shift ZX to save or to quit without saving, you can actually go into your vimrc and tell it how to do that. I'm not going to show you how to do that today because that's a little more hands-on and it gets a little messy. Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't. I would just set up I would just use colon Q exclamation point if you want to quit without saving. Yep. Alright, so let's say you wanted to go to line 4, so you just type in colon 4, takes you to line 4. And this will work, doesn't matter where you are in the document. Type 0, that'll take you to the start. Like 37. I use this a lot myself, or you can do 37 5GG will do the same thing. Also, the next thing I'm talking about, you can open up files within Vim. You don't have to, quit Vim and type in main2.cc. If you're already in Vim, you can just go into command mode, type E. E is the shortcut for edit. I just use E. Yeah, you don't need nurture. You just do colon E main.cc and it opens up that file. Similarly, there's also tabby or tab edit. Yeah, readme. Yeah, you can do for Kearney's assignments just E readme, but you're gonna like this even more. Tabby readme opens up a new tab with readme, and to move through the tabs, you just press GT. I like to think of it go to tab. Go to tab. Yeah, tabs are a thing. Yep. And GT, you can just keep pressing GT and it'll cycle through. Let's say we have I don't know, his read header file open. Yeah, you can do public. What is it? Oh, by the way, tab completion works. You can just say pub tab read. And he's got more than read in here. Here's read. And there you go. You can look at it as read file. And just press GT. It'll take you throughout the tabs. Or you can press G. Like I said before, if there's a lowercase version, there's probably an uppercase version. So lowercase g, capital T, will take you back a tab. G, capital T, G, capital T. So I use tabs a lot. There's also a way you can do split windows. Let me see if I can get this working. Yep, there you go. Control So I don't have this on the slides, so I'll just write it down here. Control W, what was it? V? Yeah, Control W V, lowercase. That'll that'll make a new vertical window. And to get to it, you have to press Control W L to go to the right. Remember how I said use H, J, K, and L? Well, this is why. Because you can use it for different windows. You can also make a new window horizontally. Control WH. And of course it's not working. Hold on one second. Is it Control WH? Vim window commands. Thought it was Control H. Maybe it's Control. Yeah. I don't use Windows, but I know some people love this. Because you can have your README open on this side and your main.cc open on this side. Control W left or right. Yeah, you can use arrow keys as well. Yeah, and it's the same thing to close it, so Shift ZZ will close that side. And the same thing for this. So this will create new window vertically. And if someone could find out how to do it horizontally. I thought it was H. Makes sense, right? H for horizontally. Yeah. That's the main reason why I used it, so you don't have to have two putties open at the same time. Multiple windows. Control W. Let's say you have a vertical one open, you can do Control W. Let's see. Of course, nothing wants to work for me today. Isn't that how presentations go, though? I think I have a custom keybind setup. That's why it's not working for me. But you can Google, Vim window commands. Yeah, tabs. I like tabs better. But I do, sometimes you want to have the README and just go right into your code without having to tab over. I can see how that's useful too. Alright, so now we get to search and replace. I believe this is the last thing, because we already went over visual mode. So search and replace. It's another thing that will blow your minds. So I'm going to, let's first go over the syntax, because it's kind of a little weird, right? So you have to be in normal mode to use search and replace, and then from there you have to go into command mode, which just put in a colon, and then you're into command mode. And then S is going to be your search. Percent just means go through the whole file, search through the whole file, and we're going to search, and then you have to separate the actual command from what you're searching. Hello, Belle. Good to see you. Alright, so we're going to search for foo throughout the whole file, and you have to separate what you're searching with what you want to replace. So we want to search for foo and replace it with bar. And then also need another separator. And the G just tells it to, correct me if I'm wrong, Bell, but I think it's globally. And then also add the C to confirm, so that it just doesn't replace everything without you knowing. Yeah. Yeah, if you don't have the G, it'll just replace on the line that you're on. And that's it. And the C is really useful because let's say you have a 1,000 line file, you probably don't want to replace every instance of foo. Let's say you have a variable named food, right? It's going to replace food with bar, and then you're going to have Bard, a character from League of Legends, and I don't think you want that, right? All right, so let's give it a shot. So we're going to go into, we're in normal mode, so we're going to go into command mode. I'm just typing in colon, %s, a search, and we're going to search for vec. And I want to replace it with, let's just replace it with bar. Let's stay with what we had set up. And we're also going to do this for the whole file. So leaving that G, and we also want to confirm every time. So right now, we have a lot of vecs, right? We've got include vector, we got vec, 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 vec. We only want, or I only want to replace this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one, right? So that's why you have this confirm on. So it'll actually say replace with bar. And it will highlight up here which one it's replacing. So I'm going to say nope, don't want that one replaced. So you can just give it Y for yes, N for no, I believe A for all. And I'm not actually sure what all these are. Usually you only have to use yes, no, or all, right? Bell could chime in. I'm not sure what these mean. Yeah, no problem. Drive safe, dude. Q is probably stop search. Yeah, let's give it a try. Q. Yeah, Q just stops. So in that case, we didn't replace anything there because it starts at the top of the file when you say /G, and then it goes down all the way. But let's say you already know which lines you want to replace. You can just say from line 5, comma, 212. This is inclusive, by the way, so it'll start from line 5 and it will operate on line 12 as well. Search for the word foo and replace it with bar. And we could also probably put C on here as well, but yeah, I think we should do that. So we'll do, let's see, so I only want to replace the one on line 12 all the way to 19. S. I'm going to replace vec with bar, and I'm going to tell it to confirm. Replace with bar, so it's highlighting. Let's see, it's highlighting this one for some reason. Okay. Know what? That actually messed me up because this isn't line 12, right? I was looking at relative number. All right, let's redo that. 34. And then we want to go to, what is that, line 41? It's good to try GC first. Yeah. Or if you messed up like I did, it was highlighting this one, right? I was like, why is it doing that? Yeah. Be sure to have confirm on for sure. So we want to replace vec with bar. I'm not sure if you need the G here, but we're just going to go ahead and leave it in. So it's highlighting this vec. We do not want to replace that with bar, so we're going to say no. Now it's highlighting this one. We're going to say yes, yes, no, yes, yes, no, yes, and you're done. Very useful. A wizard. You're a wizard, Harry. All right, so are we speechless or? Thank you, thank you.